Hey there, we are live here from Zynga Poker. This is the second installment of the Poker Tips and Tricks. And joining me right now here is Evan as well. I'm Will. This is my first episode, and I'm pretty sure anybody familiar with the history of television in general knows that the first episode of everything is pretty horrible, and this is going to be no exception.
I'm sure you will be the anomaly. What is up, everyone? I'm assuming we'll just give an intro.
Yep. And so we're going to look at the... We're going to be looking at poker from a more technical perspective, from a more coaching perspective, maybe from even more of a school perspective, trying to help players get better at the game, trying to help players understand the ins and outs of the game. Poker is a very deep, rich game. I've been playing for 20 years. I even played professionally for a little bit, and I'm still learning. There's so much to learn.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing, Evan?
I've been playing not 20, probably closer to 5 years. But yeah, definitely a very deep game, very rich, a lot of nuances, and like you said, I mean, I don't think you ever stop learning. You got poker pros playing for, upwards of 30 years, and they're still changing their games.
Cool. So we're gonna start with the tournament today. I'm a tournament player. I've been playing a lot of tournaments. That's a nice way of saying I suck at cash. And then we'll see how that goes. If the poker gods are nice, that'll last, and we'll win. And we can talk about that as we go. But so we're gonna play a sit and go. My selection of avatar here is a bald eagle. A lot of people in the poker world, like to broadcast how great they are. Put out a shark or some really hooded, sneaky character. Those guys are almost always terrible. The really innocuous people, the people who are just kind of like forgettable, those are the people you really have to watch out for.
Those are the ones you got to worry about?
Exactly, because when they make a big move on you, they don't want to be remembered. They want to be able to do that again.
Nice.
So we're filling up here. We're playing a 1 million chips sit and go, 4 million for first.
Is this is your personal account? Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Nice.
I am putting my heart.
Your chips are on the line, sir.
All in, first hand. This looks like a nice, terrible hand to start with, so we're going to fold. All right, so basic structure of a sit and go. You have 1,000 chips. Everybody has the same number of chips. Ooh, 9-5.
Wow.
All right, so somebody not taking it seriously right off the bat, and here we go. Down to 8. Pays the top 3. So as a poker player who's trying to build your bankroll over time, you're definitely going to want to not only try to win them, but try to finish in the top 3 and, see it depending on your situation. You never know going in what kind of cards you're going to get, what kind of players you're going to run into.
Yeah, so I guess, how would you describe your tournament style? Are you more conservative at the beginning? Are you a loose cannon?
Oh, yeah, I'm all over the place. I think that helps long term because people never know where I'm coming from. I definitely don't come out firing. Almost everybody else does. And so, hopefully with good cards I'll start playing right away, but usually I'll hang out a couple hands and see who the jokers are at the table.
Sure,
who the serious players are as well. But I think one of my strengths, one of the things that you too can learn how to do is when and how to dial up the pressure, because the blinds go up in a tournament.
Right.
As opposed to cash where it never changes and every hand is interchangeable the same. In this, over time, the pressure goes up more and more is coming down to it. So it's about learning how to steal, how to be a good thief later in the tournament.
Yeah, definitely.
So we haven't had any cards to look at yet. So
yeah, no, I mean 2 hearts, but that's about it.
All right, table seems to have calmed down a little bit. Only 2 all-ins and 2 hands. That's pretty standard, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually, I think that's below normal. Usually, you get a lot of bingo players in those first couple hands. So,
cool.
Maybe we'll have a tougher competition today. Ace queen. I don't like that hand. A lot of people like ace queen. I feel like I've gotten burned on it too many times.
Yeah, ace queen's terrible. Queen 9, even more terrible.
Yeah, true.
We'll talk a lot about queen 9 before this is all done. We're going to jump in here just because it's
been a while.
It's been a while.
Let's get in a hand.
It was cheap.
All right, we got top pair?
Yeah. Flopping top pair with good position. We only have one person going after us. Position is one of the most undervalued things in poker. So I'm going to bet 80. I'm going to bet almost all the pot.
So what makes position so good, Will? What is it about where you act that is so influential on the game?
Oh, sure. Let's see here. Let's check. Position is key because it works both ways. If you have a good hand and you want to try to bet and extract value out of it, I'm not going to bet here in case there's a straight.
Sure.
Then if you get to go last, you can bet a good amount of chips without worrying about someone betting more after you. And if you're out of position, then you have to bet first. Then people can fold behind you or raise. It's giving you sort of the go last.
Yeah.
It's so important. I like to visualize it as thinking about having a sword fight and you're on a spiral staircase. And whoever is on the button, whoever's last is at the top of the staircase, and you're fighting downhill against everybody who's step upon step down the staircase.
Interesting. I like that analogy.
Thank you.
That's kind of a fun way to think about it.
Yes, and thinking about trying to fight uphill, trying to play out of position is just one of the worst things in poker, and it's one of the costliest things too.
Yeah.
Some games it matters more than others. Games like Omaha, position can be even more important than it is in Hold'em.
And between cash games and tournament games, do you think the role of position changes between the two?
No, I'd say it's about the same between the two. You're just always looking to be last.
Yeah.
So this can figure into strategy. As you're near the button, if you're almost last, sometimes you can raise just to get everybody up behind you to fold, so you can buy the button, so you can be last. So it's not always about the cards you have. A lot of times it's about who's in the hand and what kind of position you have versus them. Hey, a real hand, but we have the worst position. We are under the gun.
We're under the gun here.
So I'm just going to call and see what happens. If someone were to raise, that gives us an option to re-raise. 9-9 is a very good starting hand as far as Hold'em is concerned.
Let's see. Looks like we got a lot in the pot.
It's like the worst case scenario and a little raise. Oh man. All right. So poker's always about situations. This is a situation where we are looking to flop a 9. That's a 1 in 8 chance. There's 7 to 1 against. But if we make 3 9s, we're going to have a huge hand. We didn't, and we probably have to give up here.
Yeah. I mean, there's a king on the board.
And
the min bet here.
Way out of position. Someone could raise behind. Someone could have a king. There's just too many bad things going on here.
Let's see. Man. Too many people playing that hand. Someone's got to have a better pair than us here.
Exactly. I love poker because it's such a perfect blend of strategy, psychology, and math. And, everybody loves math. But the strategy of how to play pocket 9s under the gun, the strategy of what happens when 6 people call or 2 people fold and the next guy raises. How do you play these different situations? And then the psychology, it's going to change depending on the person you're playing against.
Right. What kind of player's making the moves?
What kind of mood they're in? How many did they just lose the last hand? I have top pair again here, and it's a pretty garbage flop. I'm going to see if I can take it down.
3 spades showing.
Epic fail.
We got a king showing too.
All right. I need a lifeline.
I think we call here. Right?
Yeah,
we're getting pretty good odds here.
We have 2 pair. We might have the same 2 pair as them.
King might play as the kicker.
He might have a flush. Oh, that's a terrible bet because he wants us to call. Never do what they want you to do. That's just...
Fold it up here.
We're going to just let it go. We're going to fight another day. That bet said, please pay me. Just a little bit. Just come on. Don't fold.
I have the best hand, and I'm going to pull some money out here. Going to make a withdrawal. All right, we're small blind here. We got 2 face cards, not suited.
Raise behind. So we can either go all in or fold, right?
Yep, those are 2 options.
If you ever have a short stack like this where you have 450 and you have to call 300, it's never a good idea to keep the rest back.
Yeah.
It's close enough to never.
So we folded there. There were a lot of people who already had money in the pot. We worried about too many callers. I mean, we didn't have ace.
Right. Yeah. So now we've already shown our poker excellence by taking 1,000 chips and turning it into 420. What's the strategy now?
I think generally we actually want to increase the amount of chips.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Little known fact, but you actually want to end up with more money than when you started.
All right. So we should also kind of maybe be trying to get into the top 3 here as well. Can
I
we
think that's
sneak
the general
in somehow?
strategy.
All right. He raised to 300 again. We're looking to go all in. We have an ace, but it's a bad ace. He showed ace queen last time. We don't have any reason to doubt that he has a good hand yet.
Yeah.
So we got to respect him. Bigger chip stacks will start pushing people around if they're playing well. I wanted to show you that. I was going to demonstrate that how good I am at bullying everybody.
That's actually one of my weakest areas of my game is if I get a big stack, I'm pretty bad at playing it well. I keep playing the same way throughout. So that's
yeah, it's a good layer. It's so many levels of ace king. There
ace
you
king
go.
suited. I mean, he's getting the hand. So
Yeah. All right. More garbage. All right.
we are not the shortest stack at the table. There is someone with 140 chips.
Evan looking for silver linings.
We gotta find the positive notes here.
Notice the bully folded this hand, so he's not actually being a bully. He continues to just raise quality cards, and he's looking to just play straight up as far as we can tell for now. In fact, there's nobody at the table who's really playing out of turn right now.
Yeah.
So that kind of, if we have any chips at all, that's a good opportunity for us. Another good rule of thumb: play opposite however the table is playing. If there are 6 loose people at the table, you want to be really tight, and if everybody's playing really tight, you want to be open it up and be loose, steal some chips.
Right, we got ace rag again.
I think it's time to go all in
We're
here.
all in on this.
We have one loose call, but one important thing to know when you're going in all in with your last few chips in Hold'em too is you want to have high card value. I mean, any pair obviously would be good, but an ace or a king, even with a garbage card, is much better than 9-10, 7-8 suited, any of that stuff, because it's not high enough. We're hoping that they both fold and we get to pull in a few more chips here. If not, we're going to face off against...
Oh my gosh, and they flopped the set. And they got quads. I think I'm bad luck. Last time I streamed, I lost to quads. I mean...
All right, lost to quads.
pretty brutal hand for us.
How horrible is this tournament going? And we are done.
And we're out.
All right.
All right, we got a little starter pack there.
All right.
We
We probably have enough time to lose 3 or 4 more tournaments, but let's go find a cash table instead.
Let's warm up. We'll warm up at a cash table.
We just lost a cool million. It's time to go see if we can pull that back in. So are you a cash player or a tournament player, Evan?
I like tournaments. I like being invested into the, from beginning to end. I think cash play too dependent on wallet sizes. I like the even playing field of the tournaments.
Yeah. So in cash games, since there's no time limit and no escalation, every hand being the same, you can start kind of play all sorts of stuff. You don't have to be so focused on value. Terrible position, good hand, 3-handed. Let's raise it up. Maybe we'll just take it down here. But we'll see. Got a call. All right. This is classic. First to act. We have second pair. So, unless he has a king, we're probably ahead. All right. Straight draw.
2 cards for possible overpairs. What are we representing here? We're betting every time.
Except this time, which we checked, because not sure what he might have. All right. I'm just going to take it away from him right now. That was such a weak bet that there's no way he has anything, and I'm going to bet to say that he has nothing.
Let's see. And you've induced the fold.
Psychology. All right.
Another pocket pair.
Pocket pairs are definitely one of the trickiest hands to play in Hold'em, because you don't. If you flop a set, that's great, and that happens 12% of the time. Mm-hmm. The other rest of the time, you end up with situations like this, where it's like, does he have a queen?
Yeah.
And then a 7 comes on the turn. Does he have a 7? And it's so hard to know. See, again, the psychology, 20K, that's a pretty crappy little bet. Oh, I raised.
He called. All right. Same situation as last time. We got 2 cards with potential overpairs.
Right.
All right. We got a much larger bet this time.
All right, that's an easy fold. If we had a real hand, we could think about one, but we really didn't. Pair
All right.
of fives.
Jack 10. How do you like Jack 10?
Jack 10's a quality hand. 10 makes the most straights in poker. 10
Okay.
and otherwise, he's raising to 20k every hand. That's a good strategy as well. Let's give him props for that. You want to raise all of your hands basically the same so that people can't tell what kind of cards you have based on how much you raise. You don't want to raise your
Interesting.
big hands one way and the other one's more. All right. Here we go again. All right.
All right, so things we're scared of. We're scared of flushes here.
Right. So we don't want to give any cheap cards away.
We have the flush. Man, we are... I don't want to say it's my fault, but I think I might be bad luck here.
All right. We're going to blame Evan for everything that's happened so far, especially the quads.
I'll take quads. I'll take quads for sure. That one's on me. Man, it seems like every set of good cards we get, we just lose anyways.
Yep. Sometimes you can't win for a day, a week, a month. Get used to that. Sometimes you can't lose. So we're at 3 people at this table. I'd love to have 5 people. I'm going to try to find a different table and see if we can find a few more. Now we're up to 4. Let's see how that goes. Plus, no luck at that last table.
Yeah, that was clearly our issue actually. Just an unlucky table. So
Don't believe in luck or superstition. That's you're just gonna have to unlearn that stuff. just let it go. You have no magic tokens. No certain cards mean
You're not the
anything at
suspicious
all.
type? You're not the
No.
suspicious type,
I
though?
used to be. I used to be the worst at that.
Really?
And you just have to. It takes years and years to unlearn all of your favorite superstitions and things like that.
Were you when you were playing professionally? Were you ever superstitious like in the earlier phases?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. I was dead money plenty of times. Dead money being like virtually no chance to walk out of there with winning a tournament or making a decent profit. The only way you could ever really hope to win is get really lucky. But that's what's great about poker. Anybody can get lucky and win on any given day.
Totally.
But you got to always be thinking long term. Just what's the best play in the long term, and even if you lose a pot. Okay, this is an amateur tip here for you. Someone who bets 3 times the pot. That is an amateur bet. Poker's all about pot odds. And the reason that you might bet the pot, for instance, if there's 10K in the pot, you bet 10K, that gives someone 2-to-1 odds to call you. And you're trying to give them a situation where their chances of improving and making a good hand are worse than the odds they have to pay. So
Right.
if you give them 2-to-1 and they only have a 4-to-1 chance to win, then you've won at poker. You've bet at them and they're going to call with inferior odds. Betting 150K into 20K is basically giving someone 1.1 to 1. One even, almost.
Yeah, almost
there's
even
almost
odds.
no odds on there at all, and there's almost no incentive to call unless you have them crushed, in which case you can just easily collect all their money. So bet sizing is very important. It's one of the fundamentals of poker is learning how percentages of what your hand is, percentage of what you think they have, and then trying to give them a bad choice to make and hope they make a bad choice with it.
Right.
Hey!
We got a hand.
Nah, Evan. All right. So again, with high cards, quality hands like this, we're looking for 1 opponent or 2 opponents. We don't want 5 people to come in with all of their 6-3 suited and Jack-9 and all of that stuff. We're hoping that our raise cuts down to 1, maybe 2 other people. Also, we're hoping we cut down to somebody who has a hand that we have dominated, such as Ace-10, King-10, anything like that. Let's see how we did.
And we call here. Wow.
Jack? No.
Brutal. We are not running hot.
All right. What is the opposite of that?
Running cold.
Running cold. All right.
We are running cold. Ryan has I'm sorry, our viewer Argos has brought up that we have the hand strength meter enabled right now.
Oh boy.
He's calling us out saying we don't need that, so we'll go
right.
ahead and turn that off.
Yes, let's turn off our hand strength meter and fly solo here without that.
Without the game assisting us.
Wait a minute, is 6-2 good?
It's suited.
No,
it's suited, so
okay,
it's
hand
it's
strength
not.
meter said 0. I had to check.
You had to
one
check
more time.
it. So on that previous hand, I think we bet like 44K, and
Right.
we induced an all-in for 63K.
Right.
So 19K more to call. I think
Right.
we call that pretty much every time, right?
Yes, that's a good point. Looking at the pot odds laid there is 130 30K and we had to call 20, so we were getting over 6 to 1 and we had ace king. That's an easy call and no way to know that he has aces. It actually illustrates a good point. So when you're buying into a table, this is a table where you can buy in for 800,000. You can buy in for any amount from 40,000 all the way up to 800,000.
Right.
And it's important to buy in for max. It's important to keep your chip stack up at max or above, hopefully, once you start actually collecting them. Because he woke up with pocket aces against ace king. That's kind of a dream situation. He's a 93% favorite. We're probably both going to get all our chips in, especially if like a king comes or anything of the sort. But he only made 63K because that's all he had. He could have made 400K, 800K. So there's really no advantage to coming in short buy and trying to double up, or lower your risk profile. I think a lot of people are hoping to lower their risk by only buying in for a little bit.
Right. But I mean, in a cash game, you can cash out whenever, right?
Right.
So it seems like the optimal strategy is always to come in with, the largest buy-in.
Right, exactly. Now, turn it around. He had aces, we had ace king, and we would have had to, maybe he goes all in and we have to figure out if we want to call 800,000 instead of 60,000.
True.
So it does lower your risk per hand, but you got to be thinking like a winner. You got to be thinking about collecting chips, constantly bringing them in, and so you want as many bullets as possible with you at the table. All right.
Totally.
Here's a really marginal hand.
Really marginal hand.
All right. Evan is the worst luck ever. All right.
I am not great.
All right. So while we're waiting for any sort of hand to happen at all here, let's talk a little more strategy. So one way in which people play less than optimally, less than mathematically, right? You could look at each hand in each situation and figure out he has a 42%, he's 19%, if you had all of the information. And as a player during these hands and getting a read off of people, you can actually kind of make those estimates yourself. The question is, how do you take advantage of those? How do you make a profit based on those kinds of things? And you look for people's weaknesses over time, the things they do over and over again. And one of them that's pretty universal among everybody, especially amateurs, is they got to see. They want to see. They will usually, if you bet more than they should call, they will call anyways. A lot of times because the alternative is nobody ever knows what happened.
Right.
And you might have just fleeced them. All right, ace high. We're going to bet. Our new strategy here is, as we continue to lose chips, we're going to bet worse and worse hands until we are all out of chips. Conceding the pot, probably has a king, and
great.
On the river.
Rivered the jack.
All right. One of my favorite things about poker is that it's self-taught. Almost nobody goes to poker school.
Yeah.
Barely anybody reads a poker book. And even if you do, you have to teach yourself from the book.
Right.
And so people are out there with all sorts of levels of experience and all sorts of different stake levels as well. It's not like the PGA Tour where you have your top players, your Mickelsons and Tiger Woods, where they're the best and they always are at the top winning. It's like anybody can play at any stake level. You'll find great players, the penny table, and at the $1,000 table as well.
Definitely.
Boy, this is the worst ever. Welcome to Zynga Poker.
All right. I'm thinking we should take another stab at a tournament.
All right.
What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
We're warmed up here.
We haven't lost money quite fast enough today. All right. Let's get our free chips for the day.
Okay.
All right.
I'm hoping for 3 cherries.
We need like
didn't get it.
A million chips. Okay. We'll
37.
Take 30. All right. Whatever. All right. Back into the tournaments.
All right. I'm feeling good about this one. We used all our bad luck is how I'm viewing this.
All right.
2-6 offsuit.
All right. Folding.
This is my favorite hand in the game.
Is it?
Yeah.
I should have raised. You should have.
It's okay. I didn't give you enough warning. We'll keep that in mind next time. 2-6 offsuit always pays out for me. You're talking about not being suspicious. I'm extremely suspicious or superstitious when it comes to 6-2 offsuit.
I see. I used to like 5-2.
5-2, really?
Yeah. It's a quality hand. It's not. It's terrible. Math doesn't lie. You can convince yourself of a lot of things in the short term about math, and that's again one of the fantastic things about this game is you can be a 90% favorite river card comes the 10% that you really didn't want. And
Right.
They ship the pot to someone else, and that other person feels like they did everything right. And
Yeah.
They feel like, yeah, I'm the best poker player ever because look at all my money to prove it. And being a good player, being a good pro, is knowing that the river card doesn't bring happiness. No matter what happens on the river, you put it in, and 9 out of 10 times going forward, you will get the pot there. And when you smile when the one time it goes the other way, because that keeps the other people playing as well.
Right.
Anybody on here we should research? Anybody we want to look up? Because you're always looking for more information about your opponents.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, I have a question here in chat from Johnny. He's asking, how important do you think table image is?
Table image.
I'll leave this one to you.
That's a good question. It's very important. It's fluid, first of all. It's going to change over time, and it's not even really all up to you. It's like you might get dealt aces followed by kings. Nobody even sees the aces because they fold. Then you collect a big pot with the kings, and now you have a really strong table image. And there's not much you can do about that. People are going to perceive you the way they are. So it's important to be cognizant of your table image, but you really don't have too much control over it.
I see.
mean, you can play really tight or really loose, but it's less to don't try to craft a table image. Just be aware of how everybody sees you. Then you know what they're expecting from you. If you do have a strong table image, use it to loosen up. Use it to start raising more, stealing chips, representing more because people have only seen you turn over good stuff.
Right.
And if you have shown a bluff, or even if you've just lost a couple pretty decent hands, nothing you can do about it. You're not going to be able to bluff people out nearly as much anymore, so
Right.
don't try.
Interesting.
All right, we're going to check out this Lion, level 138. All right, this looks like
A lot of hands played here.
Quality player. Favorite stakes 2 million. 160,000
160,000
hands.
hands played.
All right, so that's a quality opponent we're going to definitely have to watch out for.
All right, so we're big blind on this hand.
Yay. An excuse to play garbage. Blinds are also terrible position. Terrible flop. So today, welcome to learn how not to play poker.
Maybe you'll have some better luck when Ryan comes in here. I'm just bringing us down.
Perhaps. All right. Another bet.
Another terrible flop. 8-2-3.
So, kind of tangent to the table image question. In poker, is there usually a right answer? Yes, that's the answer. Usually there's a right answer for what you're going to want to do, and you can do whatever you want in any given situation, but keeping yourself mostly in the realm of right answers is going to keep you profitable over
Right.
time, build your chip stack.
Long term.
Right, exactly. There's always room for a creative move, but creativity takes a lot. It's a sophisticated thing to make a good bluff, to tell a consistent story in this. And I think one of the easiest ways to detect bluffs is when people just kind of do something out of nowhere.
Right. So I like when you're watching poker professionally and you see these guys making like hero calls that work out for them, where they're making crazy bluffs. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's cool in the moment, but it's very hard to keep that consistently successful. I guess is what you're pointing out.
Right, and it's again about table image. Maybe he raises 4 high and gets Phil Ivey to lay down pocket kings, but maybe that's because over the last 100 hands he's played 3 of them and they've all been monster hands.
Right.
Poker's very situational and psychological as well. What do you think?
I think we call here.
All right,
I think we call. Let's play a
continue
hand.
to play rags here.
And this is why you don't listen to me. This is why you do not listen to me.
In a future show, we're going to have Evan in the other room playing against us.
So that you could see what it looks like to win.
Yes, so you can see what it's like to just have chips handed to you. All right, check around, check again around. We're still going to check because I don't believe that we can buy this pot.
I don't think so either. There's too many people playing.
Right, exactly. You can get a couple people to fold maybe. Maybe 4 people is... there's just no point here. Let's save our chips, let's try to find a good hand, and let's try to play some real poker. Alright. So, now's a good time to ask yourself if we'd bet we have gotten King 4 to fold on the river, and if we'd bet how much.
Right.
it's generally, the way to figure people out is to work backwards after hand. Think about how they behaved, and then you can start to learn what kind of player they are. He's raised a couple times. That's fine. Still no reason to disbelieve anybody at this table yet.
So I guess going back to your question, do you think we could have gotten the pair of fours to fold on that last hand?
Yes. Yeah, we could have.
I think so.
It would have been we would have bet about the pot, give them 2-1 odds, and most players, given that kind of look, would realize that my pair is not good,
Right.
fold.
Especially with 3 other players in the hand.
Right.
It's a lot of people to worry about.
So Dan Harrington, one of the well-respected pros over the past decade, longer, has a good estimate, rule of thumb. He says to always assume there's a 10% chance that your opponent is bluffing. No matter what's going on, no matter what's happening in a hand, there's a 1 out of 10 chance they're just straight lying. And
Really?
always figure that into your percentage when you put them on. You think, oh, I think he has an ace. I think there's a 60% chance he has an ace. Make sure you take 6% out of that, and he might be lying, kind of thing. I'm going to continue to fold. We're going to try something different here and play tight, play some really...
Play good hands
Play
instead
good
of
hands instead of... Yeah,
Jack 5 off. Interesting. Let's see how this works out. Well,
Brings up another good point, spotting amateurs. I think spotting amateurs is one of the first comprehensive skills that a more intermediate poker player will make. One easy way to find out, playing too many hands. Right? How many people are here at the table? How many reasonably good hands can you expect? How many times will you expect to win? And,
Right.
you'll have the best hand 1 out of 9 times, on average over time. So if you're playing 5 out of 9 hands, then you're just asking to lose 4 of them and win 1,
Yeah.
and somehow think that you can outweigh your losses with your gains. And that's a steep hill to climb. You're really looking to play less hands, and that works for you both ways. We talked about table image a little bit. Having a strong table image will work for you because then at future times people will fold and assume you have the cards. If you continue to only show good hands, the more that happens, the more you will be able to bluff going forward. This is a great example of a really tricky situation in Hold'em here. If we had played, we would have 2 pair, but they're the bottom 2 pair.
Right.
It is bottom 2 pair being the most vulnerable hand in poker because so many things can change it. In this case, flush. They could have a straight. They could have a bigger 2 pair, 3 of a kind, anything in the world. Even if 7-8 was the best hand, it is clearly not anymore.
Yeah. After that river, I don't think there's any chance.
Flush, straight, and
There you
straight.
go. Yeah, you got all the possibilities there, right?
All right. Looks like 1 gone. Hey, is somebody left? All right.
Queen 6.
Time to fold to the top 3. No, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to win this thing. We're going to come all the way back and take it down.
Oh, we're getting it.
All right.
So while we're folded here, I guess another good point in talking about table image and reading amateurs. When you were playing professionally, were you playing online mostly, or real tournaments?
No, mostly online.
Online.
Yeah.
How do you think online play, in these kind of games differs from playing with real people?
It's interesting. You can learn. Here's my favorite hand in the world.
2-5 off.
Fold. You can learn, all of these people are new to us, so there's really no way we could study their stats and try to glean a little information, but you're definitely always looking to gather information about your opponents, and not just in this hand or in this tournament, but over time. And so you want to keep track of people. You want to be able to figure out people and what is their style, what are their weaknesses, what are their superstitions especially, and how can you play against them better over time. So that's certainly half of it. I played a lot of different games besides Hold'em. I played Omaha, I played Stud, other games that have a smaller group of players, first of all, but then also more information, more cards on the table. You get to see more of what's going on. So then it was about learning psychology, learning strategy, learning how to play against each individual person going forward.
Right.
You also, believe it or not, learn how to detect when people take a quarter of a second to click versus a third of a second to click.
Wow, yeah.
It's just split second, and you might not even realize it, but after time you eventually kind of get an idea for
Call here? Do we call
No,
here?
no. Out of position. There's a quality hand behind us. The smaller. Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
can't- you
Can't
can't-
be results oriented, right?
Right, exactly. You can't look at the flop because it comes king five how many times? We might not even be ahead. Yeah. Don't second guess yourself like this guy, You just got to go with your gut and see what happens. And again, if you find out afterwards, you can work backwards. You can find out if you were right, why you might have made one choice or the other. But we could be out of the tournament based on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Based on that raise.
Very real possibility.
All right. So here we're getting good pot odds. 2, 4, 6, 7 to 1. So we're going to call even though we have a terrible hand and we're out of position. Nobody's shown any strength. And there's one person who's only got 60 chips left. So they're not a threat to take us too much more. That being said, we're probably going to check fold here like the rest of the day.
We're in against two of the big stacks here. Okay, we pick up a straight draw there, right?
Well, one more free card and we might make a hand.
Pick up the straight draw. I like it.
So just a programming note, if you want to see interesting poker, any of the previous episodes probably had some really good hands.
Hey! We picked up the straight.
All right. Now how do we play this? Again, out of position, this is hard to get paid.
Right.
Because if somebody has you beat, they raise you or call. If somebody can't, they fold. And we tie with the all-in and take half the pot.
And
Yay. All right. So, elaborating on one earlier point as well, talking about how players are self-taught, right?
Right.
Add an extra wrinkle into that and think about how people mostly learn from other poker players at the table while they're playing. Who are their opponents?
Right.
Who are probably trying to trick them and probably trying to mislead them. I have told so many different players online that they have made the wrong play when they made a brilliant play because I am not about to help them play better against me, and in fact I try to instill doubt in them. So
you, sir, are devious.
Yes, you should never trust a poker player. Always trying to
That's a life lesson, I think. That's not even a poker lesson.
Yes. All right. So
middle pair here.
Middle pair here.
This guy's been raising with quality hands every time, I think.
Yep, I know. This has been a grind, Evan. I really appreciate it. Hey, all right.
All right, we got another hand.
All right. This is such a good hand. We don't want to scare everybody away. That being said, we only have 800. We don't want multiple opponents. We'd love it if people who have hands like Ace-7 are willing to fold here as well.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think does our chip stack being short stacked at this table help us here? Do you think?
No, never help. Oh, and we didn't even get any action.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Another decent
hand here.
Let's raise 200. Let's keep it going. Down to 5 people. We're in 3rd place, so we're hoping to secure a spot in the final 3 and then go from there. I think that's definitely. Oh no. I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna play conservative and try to get to the top 3. Show you how.
Yeah.
Imagine this was real money and that actually really mattered. That was $300. I'm gonna pass and come find another day. She hasn't done anything all day, and then all of a sudden she shows strength.
Yep.
This is more of a big stack raise. He's got more chips than us, and he's allowed to take our big blind like that.
And I think that previous hand is one where I would say, I probably would have made a different play in a cash game than a tournament game.
Right. Yes.
If we lose that hand, we're basically out of the tournament at that point, and
Right.
you can't rebuy.
I'm gonna go all in here. Just kind of. Hey, all right.
Okay. We got him crushed.
It's gold. All right. Now we got something to work with.
Now we're cooking.
Notice I would have raised the same with Ace-3 there or King-3 as Ace-King. Don't change your raise sizes based on, and we were short stacked. It's time to go all in. It's time to make some money or get lucky.
Right.
So, still down to 5. Definitely, I would say, everything's situational. Each tournament's going to be different. But again, it's really thinking about profit, thinking about money and long-term poker play. Get in the money first. Don't sacrifice everything for it because they tend to pay out top heavy. You get 4x for first, only 2x for second kind of thing. So you're definitely looking, obviously, to win. But really, see if you can get in the money first. And then, once you get in the money, you only have a couple opponents. Then you just start spending. Then you
Right.
take the chips away from them. It doesn't matter who has the chips. Once you get down to 3, it matters who has them at the end.
2-7 offsuit. Surprised you didn't play that one.
Known as the Hammer, it is the most beloved terrible hand in all of Hold'em. I've made many hammer boats, and nobody ever likes to see it when you turn it over.
Nah.
But this is why it's such a terrible hand. 10-5-8. Cannot touch. She's all in.
So let's see.
No calls.
No calls.
All right.
I was hoping someone would call. I wanted to see what card she's been raising a couple times lately.
Yeah.
Now.
And this is what we alluded to earlier. This is about dialing up the pressure, being more aggressive towards the end of the tournament. Everybody's tournament life is on the line, and the blinds are going up, so stealing the blinds is more and more important. Well, this is just serendipity all at once here. Now we just need someone to... I'm going to make a small raise. I know I said don't do that. Now you're understanding poker is always context. It's so good we didn't want to lose him. Let's see if we can slow this a little more. It's such a weak flop.
We go check raise here.
We're going to check raise or check and call. All right. We can't give him any more free cards.
Yeah.
He could have king 6 and then back in. Okay. Just no way to make any money with that hand. That's okay.
That's fine. We passed him up as we overtook him in chip stack there. So
all right. We have an ace here. We certainly want to put the lion all in here. Hopefully get rid of the small blind.
yeah, there you go.
This is high card value again.
Here you go. We
all
both
about
paired up
having
here,
that
but our
ace.
pair's better. Got the set. Let's take it. Now we're cooking. Now we are cooking, my friend. Jack 5 off.
Right.
I
We
think
know what
we
to do with that.
I think we learned from this last time.
Yes. Down to 4 people. Trying to look into the top 3, looking at both 3rd place and 4th place, have 13 and 1,000. We have 23. So this is again where we're gonna let's not get too excited, especially against the chip leader, so we can try to secure our spot in the top 3, get paid, and then go win it from there.
Right. Wow.
All right, one more time. Now this is definitely we should start thinking about playing hands like King 5.
Right.
But again on the bubble. And this is where all those tight folds came in, right? We folded, we raised to 200 with King 10, we got re-raised to 500, and we just folded, we saved 300 chips.
Yep.
And a difference of 300 chips now means we have 2,100 instead of 1,500 over there. It's a good play, good aggressive play, all in for 1,400, no reason to see a flop.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll fold that.
we'll let him take our big blind there.
Yeah,
Pot on.
pretty good hand. Now mathematically, you can look at all these percentages. You could talk about how people might play their ranges, and that's really up to you to figure out what kind of player are they, what kind of hand would they shove in that place, what is the odds of the pot, all that kind of stuff. And there are players who are just geniuses at this, who can play 10 tables at a time and just know immediately from all of these, oh, queen 3, obviously I go all in here, kind of thing. And that's not my jam. I'm more of a very situational person. A lot of times I'll fold a good hand that I should have called according to math.
Right.
You get a read. You get that feel of what kind of player that is. All right. Continuing to play like really conservative.
Yeah.
Although we're starting to get down into the mix now.
Yeah, we're bleeding chips here.
Min raise. We have 4 high. Yep. That's all right. Let's stick with the game plan.
We're staying conservative.
We can come out swinging here one time with no cards, and people will probably believe us.
Right.
That's our table image at the moment.
Correct.
So
Get another min raise here.
another min raise.
No,
Let's gamble.
Okay.
We have 2 good cards here. It's only 4-handed. King Queen is a pretty solid hand to start with.
That's a tough spot because everyone actions after us there, right?
Right.
We gotta,
And a min raise from the chip leader, which we don't want to get involved with him. Oh, and we flopped the dream.
This is
time to be devious. We're not worried about
we're
anything
gonna
at
check.
all.
We're gonna check. We'll let the.
There it is.
All right, we got one. Let's see what the chip leader does here.
Yay.
Oh, this is great.
Triple up. Oh, he had aces. All right.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Lucky. So lucky. We would be out if it had come 1 king queen on the flop.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right. Made our top 3.
Made the top 3.
Blinds are way up. We're so far ahead, it's time to just start pushing people around a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she's got to make a decision here. Is this the hand she's gonna go all in on?
Got her. All right. Now we can use that against him.
Yep.
Same thing.
Represent strength, and he folds. All right.
Get the fold. Well
Oh
played.
boy. Look at this.
Now we're just picking up cards. I mean,
Anybody can play pocket kings. And he folds. All right.
got some folders.
Ace queen.
Ace queen.
This is how it's done, guys.
This is how it's done.
Welcome to professional poker. All right.
All right.
Another winner.
We got him crushed here.
Ah!
Wow.
It's all right. Still, chip stacks 7,000 to 200. Yeah. All right. So these are the kinds of situations you'll get better at over time. Is this the kind of place where you call and try to team up, or do you, depending on chip stacks? That's what makes tournament play so much more fascinating and interesting. Is that over time people will have a different amount of chip stacks. The blinds will be different. Everybody's on a different clock, different timer. They have to play different levels of aggressively. We folded 3 10s, but that's okay. Apparently we cannot lose.
Can't be results oriented though, right? All right, we got fish hooks here.
Yeah. Easily enough to take everybody else down.
We're liking these
He
pocket pairs.
can't fold anything.
He's got
he does.
Wow. I
all
mean,
right.
he doesn't even have enough for the big blind.
All right, time to throw him in and see what happens.
All right, pair up here. No aces, no nines.
All right, wow. And
And I think we play anything here. Is that
right,
correct?
This is where we hit quads to finish. Go out in style. All right.
All right, we got the 3.
Pair of threes. All right,
Good work.
positive +3. All right,
Well done.
all right, all right. Let's see what we should do now.
I'm excited. I
Yeah.
feel good about that. I feel really good about that.
I love Zynga poker.
I mean, it was mostly you making the plays. I was just here kind of, throwing my 2 cents in, but I mean, it always feels good to win a sit and go, right?
Yes, it does. That was a very great example of patience. Poker is very commonly about being slightly more patient than the guy next to you, and that's the kind of thing that is not obvious. You might have to sit and fold for an hour, but if you sit and fold for an hour, you might lose 10, 20, 30 big blinds, and then you win one hand where you win 100 big blinds, and you're in great shape. So you cannot hurry. You can't expect to win at poker. It's what makes being a professional player all about the responsibility, all about handling your bankroll. Because you can't just go to the casino. Right, a regular job, you show up, you get a paycheck, you go home.
Right.
In poker, you show at the casino, you play 2 weeks, you play the best poker of your life, and you could walk out down, huge hole, and you can't pay rent. So it's all about handling a bankroll, managing the variance as well. You will win over time. You can graph it out, and your graph will go up and to the right, and you will make profit over time. But on a given day, the luck of the draw.
Right.
All right, we're going to mix it up a little bit here with our fresh 4 mil we just printed.
Feeling good. We're feeling good about
Exactly.
ourselves. We're coming
Anything
to the
can
table
win.
with a little bit of swagger,
Clearly, we have intimidated everybody because they all... Hey, actually, somebody did fold. Kind of surprising. All right, so this is a great spot to continuation bet because we represented a hand, and that is a very weak bet of 4K. They're hoping that their 9 is good enough, or they're hoping that we will make just a small call and let them draw their diamond flush, something like that. It's a good time to follow through and say, no, we have an ace. What do you have? So that's called a blocking bet, and it can be useful when it works. If, let's say he had 2 diamonds there. That's probably my best read of what he had. Maybe he had a 9, but maybe he had 2 diamonds.
Yeah.
By betting a little bit, you out of position, you're hoping that people behind you will also bet a little bit such that you can give yourself favorable odds to get to the next card.
Yes. Okay, I see.
But recognizing that that's exactly what they were doing,
Right, you
we
use
raised
that
a
to your
whole
advantage.
bunch with nothing and took the pot down, maybe with a worse hand. All right. Queen Jack wins the pot. Also was a raising hand for them. That's something to keep in mind. Whether they raise, some people will raise aces or pairs. Some people will raise all sorts of stuff. All right, we're going to go set mining here. We need a 2, and we pretty much need it on the flop unless we can get lucky and get a free card here. But mining a set, one of the standard practices in Hold'em, you're looking to flop a set 8-1 odds, but when you do flop it, you're going to win some big pots. You have such a strong hand, and you're going to catch people with 1 pair and 2 pair, all sorts of draws. Obviously, we're folding here.
Yep.
No sort of odds here. Let's talk a little bit about what we think people have. The 12K bet was really small. That's a weak hand, maybe ace high. The raise signifies a strong hand. Kings are better, maybe 3 of a kind. Not sure who's calling behind here. They might be on a draw. They might be... We'll see.
All right, I am going to take this moment. I will be swapping out.
All right, we're going to talk to Ryan for 10
another
minutes.
poker great. Ryan will be joining us.
On the river here. And we don't get to see. So Ryan's going to be stepping in here for a bit while we play our last 10 minutes of cash here. He's one of my nemeses here at Zynga, taking me out of several different poker tournaments.
It's a little unfortunate how that's worked out sometimes, hasn't it? I felt like overall you were playing superior, but I ended up just having to have the nuts in those hands that dropped down.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with the superior play. I think there were several coin flips we've had. Ace Queen versus Jacks, those kinds of things. You just have to come out on top. But one hand I actually did say Ryan's going to take all my chips, and then you did. So that was nice. I think you had 3 of a kind.
It was an interesting tournament to be a part of, and happened to get lucky at that time.
So you're a cash player or a tournament player?
I prefer tournament play when possible. My time is typically limited when I play Zynga poker, so I end up just doing the cash games just to be able to, like, okay, I have a chip stack I'm going to work with here, and I'm going to see if I can improve myself a little bit and prepare myself for when I can get to the next tournament stages. I love our events. Our sit and go events have nice payouts and have nice rewards that come from them too. So the trophy stuff is it's pretty nice to be able to show at the table. From the chat, we had Ace Joker saying a little bit earlier on, how do you adjust play against more novice players?
Good question. All right, so yes, you've spotted your amateur. Now what to do about it? There's a couple things. Number one, you notice here I'm mixing it up a little bit. I'm raising with some medium cards or lower cards, but this is different cash game strategy as opposed to tournaments. All right. And as we go through this hand, I'll continue to talk about. Let's assume they're more of an amateur player. You're not gonna bluff them as much. They're almost always they're gonna call at a much higher rate than other people. They're not gonna understand that they're supposed to fold, that you're supposed to be bluffing. So most times, it doesn't pay for you to try to bluff. You're gonna get caught a lot more often than you. So you want to play more cards. You want to take your advantages that are really simple and already just kind of low-hanging fruit right in front of you, like play better hands than they do. That alone will take care of some of it. Treat high card value. Look for their specific weaknesses. Do they call too much? Can you some amateurs, you will be able to push them around. They'll try to just limp in and see every flop, and then if you bet at them, they'll fold almost all the time unless they did really well on the flop. This is a guy continues to bet small amounts, less than the pot, and I'm not sure quite what to do with that yet. But we're kind of gathering knowledge over time on him.
Sure.
So, yes, in person, amateurs are even better because you can talk to them, or online you can try to talk to them. Anything they say, any body language, any amount of reactions, all of these things can feed in, and the amateurs are, much more prolific or much more obvious about giving that kind of stuff away.
Do you think there's any incentive to trying to let them win a couple of early hands to get them confident?
Never.
Okay.
Never. Do not give a chip away. Oh, man. It's another, no, never. Every single chip you ever grind in your life is tough. You can't afford to spot somebody a lead. There are advanced strategies for like rebuy tournaments where you might do something like that, but otherwise, and it's not up to you when you lose and win. And your analogies may be more like for pool. You could hustle somebody by letting him think they're better than you at pool, but then you can count on cleaning the floor with them for the rest, when you really start betting the big money. Here, you can do what you can, but in the course of an hour or a day, you may never end up with a good hand versus them having a second best good hand. You may not get to capitalize, so you don't even know who to sponsor, really.
How much does that, do you think, differ between cash games versus tournament games? Because I assume we've primarily been talking about this in a tournament context for how we identify bad players and then try to adjust our play based upon them.
Sure. Yeah. Some things are independent of tournament or cash. We're raising a couple good high cards here, mostly because we're on the button, because we get to go last, and we talked about position and that being important. I'd say there's another tiny bet. We're going to call that. We have 2 overcards. So we think a queen or a 9 would probably give us the best hand. We will call 8K here. Now we pick up straight draw with a 7, straight draw with a jack. That's called a double gut shot. We have 2 different inside straight draws at the same time. And we don't think that anybody else has anything too big of a hand yet, so that's good.
Our pot odds are not necessarily in the worst position either there, so
exactly.
it's reasonable to kind of limp in there with a small bid, especially when it's 1/6 of the pot.
Yes.
It's worthwhile buying information on those cards.
That's right. And also,
Oh, well, there's that guy.
Amateur play, right? Betting 800,000 into 80, that's a 1-to-1 odd situation. The only person that's going to call them almost always is going to beat them, unless they think someone else is playing slow. Total bluff. Fantastic. And there's a good example of somebody who wouldn't fold to a bluff even though they should have. A pair of 6s is pretty marginal there. There's not much reason for anybody to call, yet they did.
I think what they figured was that their read was that everyone else had nothing at the table, so they were trying to ensure their victory there,
Right.
which is not necessarily the strong play, because anyone who's going to call you is going to have a strong hand,
Right.
or medium strength hand based on the river.
And if we're taking notes on this player here who just made that giant bluff, that's definitely something we're going to write down, that they bet a huge amount when they're bluffing at the end of a hand to try to buy the pot. They bet way too much even, in fact, and that might be a good tell going forward. It's possible they might do that with a real hand too, but we haven't seen it.
Unfortunately, this is also a cash game, so after they cash themselves out, we're not likely to see them again.
Right. The more reason I love every game but Hold'em is because you get a lot of more of the same crowd.
See what we got here. Let's see. What do we have for our players over here? On the left side here, what do you think the cat guy's trying to play here with his 12K?
Well, he's been making small bets all day. He's been making hands. He called that huge bluff to double up there. Fairly amateur type player, not betting enough into the pot. Also calling. I think one of the biggest rules to always remember in poker is if you're gonna call, why not raise? Think really hard. I'm going to call 20K. What would it really change if I made it 40K instead? And you're going to find that will serve you well going forward. Raising gets people to fold, creates a stronger table image for you, and you're still in it to win it. So putting a little more money in, you will lose sometimes, but raising as opposed to calling in the right situation can really do lots of wonders for you.
You just mentioned it was in the right situation in which you want to be doing that raise.
Right.
So there are certainly situations in which you do just want to call to be able to buy more information, like that 8K hand that we saw a little bit earlier.
Right. Or here in the small blind, we had a 7. We just wanted to go and see what we could find. Now we found 2 7s. There's another small bet, and there's a call. Let's see how much we should raise. Let's make it a nice 32K here. 3 7s, clearly the strongest hand here. Now, what do we think the chances are somebody made a flush? We're going to find out. We're going to bet half the pot. Oh, no, we're going to bet 4K because we were too slow. Are they going to bluff? Oh, they only bluffed for 20K. Last time they bluffed for 600K. This is probably a real hand. Let's find out. Cannot fold, obviously. Too much money out there.
Those of you guys who have been waiting very patiently for the chip link, we're just going to be posting this out in the chat right now. Thank you guys very much.
All right. So hopefully nobody at our table is watching, but I'm going to give away a little secret here. We're just about ready to wrap up here for the day. So let's play a crazy hand or two. Let's play like a maniac, any 2 cards, and see how Hold'em works from that angle.
So you guys have been listening for the last hour? Remember all those things we taught you?
Right.
Forget about it.
Right, exactly. Or better yet, don't look. don't try to learn anything from what we're doing here, except that maybe how unpredictability can really help a table image. this is the kind of thing that if you do it and then people see it, people catch you, then they're going to think you're a terrible player. And that, I guess, to qualify one answer from earlier, you asked about giving people some chips, losing on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I will recommend that if you're sitting down at a table and you plan to be there a while, or you're starting a tournament, making one questionable play or a bad play at the beginning can go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
People will never believe you're a good player if you make a stupid play right up front. They will think you're terrible for a year before they really reach down and figure out that, oh, maybe he did that to fool us. So for a couple chips, maybe, but or it's better yet, situational. You make a questionable call. It's like, well, the pot's laying me 10-1. I only have 21 to win this, but what the heck? Let's make a really loose call. Maybe win, maybe not. But then show that you're a bad player too, like everybody else. And, all right. So I promised a crazy hand. If everybody folds, we'll go another one. But this is not the folding table. Again, call. Nobody's thinking about what kind of good cards we have. Nobody's re-raising, suggesting that they have a good hand. And I'm going to try a check raise here because I don't think if I bet, I'm going to be able to take this down. And our cheap guy was supposed to bet there. All right.
Figures.
Time to refocus our strategy. Now we'll just bet like we have.
Oh, we're gonna hit that 3.
All
We are absolutely going to hit that straight.
An immediate call from the two people. This is a good example of exactly how not to play against amateur players. They're not going to fold to your bluffs. They're not going to let you buy the pot. This is a great situation where we turn over a 6, and nobody's going to think we're any good for the next. And they're probably right. Let's face it.
To be fair, at this point, we start going crying in a corner as we leave the table.
All right, one last hand, and then we'll check out, and we'll see you guys next week. But
well, look at this. Going for that 8 draw.
All right, so we lost $1 million up front,
Mm-hmm.
then we won $3 million in the sit and go, so we're up a bunch. Let's see if we can give a whole $1 million back. All right, let's go nuts here. 100K. Does anybody ever fold in this game? And he does. All right.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. We anticipated this would be pretty terrible as a first episode, and I think we lived up to that.
I don't know. What Evan was saying earlier was like, hey, I'm going to be bad luck at the table. I'm going to be losing chips all day. And it turns out, no, he was sitting in. You through that advice, you managed to win some tournaments and collect some money.
It is, yes. Be patient out there. Be smart out there. Read your opponents. You know what they're doing, and you'll figure it out.
If there's anything that you could give for advice here, if you'd say like one thing to our users, what do you think it would be like the basics of improving poker play?
I would point to first, be willing to admit that you're probably wrong about everything. Be willing to admit that you're probably think you're a good poker player and you're probably not. You're probably not there yet. It takes years and years and years. It took me 8 years to get profitable. And I played in the World Series after 4 years. So that tells you I didn't belong at the World Series. I had no business being there, no chance of winning. It's a deep, rich game, and only by continuing to question your own ability, continue to learn, continue to look for ways to improve, learn from other players around you, learn from the pros and the literature out there. Just constantly be questioning your strategies, your ideas, and that will allow you to grow and continue to improve over time.
It's great advice. It's especially important for people as they get going, especially when it's like, hey, my gut is not always right. Basically putting some head in and doing a little bit of research can go a long way.
Yes.
And also obviously practicing quite a bit.
Yes. Well done. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. We'll be back online next Tuesday at 12:30 with some more poker personalities, more poker tips and tricks. I'll see you personally next Friday. Thanks for joining us.